So thank you very much, Tom-san. So, having this opportunity. So I'd like to know, please let us know what Qatar Airways is doing under COVID-19. For example, just in the check-in counters and in-flight service and your home, based in the airport, Hamad International Airport, something like that kind of integration I'd like to know.
No problem. Before I answer that specific question about the check-in process and in-flight entertainment and airport, I'll tell you what the business has been doing a little bit prior to as COVID's happened. Obviously, when COVID first started, impacting on the aviation business, Qatar Airways made the decision to continue to fly, while many other airlines decided to stop a lot of their international operations. And because we made that decision, we decided to position ourselves as the airline that was going to take people home. And really our mission, and certainly my team's mission in Japan, changed from being a sales and a marketing team to a team of people who were responsible for repatriating many foreigners, getting Japanese home to their families. And as that has evolved, we've gone from just, I guess, the repatriation to now in a position of more helping Japanese passengers to get where they need to go for compassionate grounds or humanitarian grounds, or essential business that is obviously approved by the government, because obviously they're not permitted to travel at the moment. So our role has evolved, but I think the key thing that we've sort of stated from the start is that we're reliable. Our network is there. We will continue to fly, and we've sort of emerged as the airline that is supporting the very small percentage of the population who still need to get where they need to go for predominantly family reasons or essential business reasons. So that's been our sort of stance, and we've obviously helped many Japanese customers through the trade to still travel if they are permitted to do. Around about just over 2 million across our network now have transported. I think that as we positioned ourselves as the airline who is still flying through COVID, probably the big thing that we've done is made sure that as you mentioned, the checking, the in-flight experience and the airport experience is both safe and secure for all passengers, crew and staff, but and equally as important as for the customer. And so we've been very, very clear from the start that we will meet any IATA or WHO standards through that process to ensure that there is minimum touch points for their customers, and to ensure that the process is as smooth and as seamless as possible, despite these circumstances. And I'll tell you the story that I personally had to go through traveling during COVID. I traveled from the UK to Australia, and the overall airport experience and in-flight experience was definitely different. It's definitely very, very quiet. It's quite eerie and scary to see just a few flights listed on the board, as opposed to thousands of flights listed and thousands of people flying around the world. So the airport experience on the ground was a check-in is not too dissimilar. Obviously, everyone's protected with masks, and there is minimum touch involved there, and obviously hand sanitizers in process, and then there's social distancing practiced at all airports in terms of the onboard experience. So it takes a little bit, it's more spread out but ultimately it's pretty much the same. And then for the onboard experience, obviously many airlines around the world have different onboard experiences right now, depending on their governments or their countries or their own internal decisions. But as far as Qatar Airways is concerned, the in-flight product is essentially the same. There is still a full service offered, and there is still very much, from an in-flight entertainment perspective, it's exactly the same. And from a food and beverage perspective, it's with the possible nuances of it being served on a tray. In business class, there's probably not any difference. I didn't notice any difference when I was flying. And then at Hamad International Airport, yeah, huge amount of safety and security there. There's some really cool technology around robotics. We have a robot that travels through the airport that checks for cleaning and is essentially cleaning 24 hours a day. The airport is again very quiet, but again very safe and secure for passengers to flow through. So ultimately, it's the same for us, with the much higher standard of cleanliness and ensuring that the customers are able to socially distance. So we are still flying. We are still very much maintaining those high standards of cleanliness in line with any government or IATA or WHO recommendations. The cabin crew, I'll touch on that as well. Our cabin crew are wearing full goggles, safety masks, PPE, suits over their uniform. So ultimately that does make that feel slightly different, but the experience beyond that is exactly the same for the customer. And we do provide face masks for the passengers as well, and screens for the customers as well. So it's very safe and secure, which is obviously our number one objective. Sorry, long answer there, Kobayashi-san. Sorry.
No. So I just, that's satisfied in your service. Yeah, thank you very much, Tom. And second question, right now, many airlines, all airlines has been tough, really tough, as well as, travel agent. So right now, the many airlines have, many aircraft grounded right now. So please tell us about your flight operation, the building plans for this time August to end of the year, or as well as next summer, please.
Yeah, I think from an industry perspective, many analysts, many airline CEOs have predicted that we won't return to normality or previous levels, pre-COVID levels, until sort of 2023 is the current sort of quotes that I've been hearing. So there's certainly a long drawn out process of return to normal status. For us, we're the schedule that we're publishing is the schedule that we're flying, and so we're very much sticking to that. Demand is almost controlled by, you may have demand or a desire to travel, but the demand is completely controlled by the governments at the origin and the destination, and the beyond points. And so, the three main areas are repatriation, humanitarian, compassionate grounds, or four areas are business travel, and that has to be approved in a lot of cases by your local governments. So I don't see demand returning in the very short term. I hope to see safe corridors. I hope to see countries who have bilateral agreements deciding that it is now safe to flow passengers between those. And I know that Japan is considering those and has done trials. I think we were talking before about a possible business corridor between Vietnam and Japan. And I believe that Japan is considering a number of other countries as possible safe corridors. So that may help demand. And I think that is sort of the pockets of safety between two countries will be the start of the return. There may also be some other markets, like the student market, who need to return to their studies, or the foreigners, the gaijin, who need to return to Japan to work. I believe they may now already have permission to return into Japan. And so you may start to see some small pockets of that demand picking up, but it's not huge. In terms of Qatar Airways, we're flying to, I think, around 435 frequencies, now 435 frequency per week, to 65 to 70. It's changing all the time, destinations. And obviously into Japan at the moment, we just have the daily service. And then that connects into Doha onto the network and can flow passengers to the many destinations that we're flying. And so that's obviously helping to ensure that we keep cargo going. I believe it's 777, which is the most cargo efficient aircraft, and so that cargo belly is very full coming out of Japan, so that demand is good for us. And then obviously we're still being able to offer the passengers. So our mission really is to continue to offer that ability to take people where they need to go, even though demand is still lower. But there are markets opening up, and I expect that demand to slowly trickle forward as we go through the rest of this year. So it will be a slow recovery, but I'm happy to say that Qatar Airways is leading the way with its growth in network, and probably most of all, importantly for the trade, is offering a reliable, consistent network in the system, in the GDS. If those flights appear in there, that's what we're flying, and we're offering sort of that reliability for the trade to book. And so, the fact that demand is slowly coming back, I think that the trade can rely on us from that perspective. And the other element, which I think is really useful for your customers and for your trade partners in Japan, is the reliability and flexibility of our terms and conditions for your customers. You're able to change the tickets without fee. Any cancellations of flights, you can full refund. You can change destinations within a 5,000 mile radius. You are able to refund for a voucher with an extra 10% in value. You're able to swap, and that's valid for 2 years. You can able to swap to Q miles, and that has a validity of 3 years. So ultimately, we're positioned as not just the most reliable, but I think the most flexible partner to ensure, right now, this is not about sales and marketing, and this is about offering reliability, safety, and flexibility for the trade and for the customer in Japan, to make sure that we're able to support them as much as possible as that demand that we talked about starts to come back, and it will come back. I can't wait for it to come back. I can't wait to be able to visit you and the guys up in Japan again. It's a big part of my heart. I lived there for 2 years, and I miss many things about Tokyo and about Japan. And I'm really looking forward to to returning there and supporting the trade partners in any way we can to get the economy going, to get the travel agents' businesses back. I think we're in this together. This is a fight for survival, and I know that you've been doing it tough, and all the other trade partners have been doing it very tough as you're trying to control your costs. But we can't survive without you. And we value the partnership that we've created, and we will continue that partnership as we go forward. And in terms of that, that bounce back, I think Qatar Airways has grown its market share. We accidentally became the largest airline in the world through this pandemic, and we will continue to support the Japanese trade post this pandemic, because we will bounce back, and we'll bounce back together.
Thank you very much, Tom. We appreciate it, your effort, your partnership. Yes. So next is, going to be the last questions. Please tell us about your commitment of sustainable.
Oh, yeah. So I think we've been clear. We've led the industry through the pandemic, and have been always committed to having a sustainable operation. We demonstrate that with our mix of modern fleet aircraft. The most fuel efficient and most environmentally friendly aircraft are the new aircraft, the A350s and the 787s, and that's the backbone of our operation. As you guys will know, and the Japanese market knows, that the older heavier aircraft like the 747 fleet is pretty much being retired globally now by airlines, of the British Airways and Qantas have announced their retirement of those aircraft, and that just sort of reflects both the cost of these heavier older aircraft, but also the environmental impact. And that's also why you're probably seeing A380 aircraft not flying around very much, and it certainly doesn't seem to be, it won't be the case that many airlines will fly those aircraft around unless they have to, because of the weight and the environmental impact, but also the commercial viability of those aircraft just doesn't work. In fact, I did a LinkedIn post. If any of the Japanese trade are on LinkedIn, please do connect with me. I try to communicate as much as I possible can in English. Apologies for that. Sumimasen, Nihongo chotto. So it's still in English. But I use that as a platform to talk about such things as sustainability and aircraft usage. And one of the posts recently was about the 747s and the A380s just being, in terms of fuel efficiency and environmentally, not the right aircraft for COVID. And I think that the COVID has accelerated the retirement, and the jury is still out on the A380, but I think that right now, I mean, we have A380s in our fleet, but they're all grounded. And so right now, the best aircraft for the sky are 787 and A350 for passengers, and 777 aircraft for cargo. Excuse me. And we've got 49 A350 range in our fleet, and 30 787s as the best sort of operating aircraft right now. And those have the sort of the highest accredited environmental ratings that you can get with IATA. So yeah, that's all I've got on that one.
Thank you very much. So, what do you think when you come back to Japan, Tokyo?
I hope it. I used to say when I started this job that I will see you at the end of the year. Yeah,
but
I think that
depends on
might,
the situation. Yeah.
You know, every country has its own own processes and procedures and methods of controlling this. You know, from an airline perspective, I can tell you firsthand that changes every single day. You know, the number examples in Australia, the number of people who are allowed to say enter Australia, depending on location, is completely controlled by the government at the moment to control, to absolutely ensure we don't have any more cases. They control that limit of passengers inbound to 30, 50, 70, depending on the airport, and in some places that's zero, such as Melbourne. So I think that the future is controlled by our governments, and I respect the government's processes and procedures, and we'll wait for that day. I think that when the skies open, there's going to be a lot of happy businessmen, a lot of happy families, and a lot of happy airline and trade partners who are able to reunite and bow to each other and elbow touch, and make those business relationships, because I think it's so important to do that. You will always rely on travel to build the relationships. Once those relationships are established, you can do things like this through Zoom, but I still ultimately believe that business travel is essential to make the relationships and build on that. And so I can't wait to get back to Japan and enjoy Kanpai and see many of the Japanese trade partners again, in the traditional business settings that we've enjoyed. And there'll be a lot of suppressed demand, I think, for families and visiting family and relatives as well. So, despite the predictions by experts, analysts, and CEOs of a delayed return to normal, I agree with that. But I think there will be some initial waves of desire to get to places, to get to see families, and I can't wait for that day. I think it's going to be an incredibly emotional moment for many. You know, just like my own family, I haven't seen my family for 3 months. My wife and daughter are not here with me in Australia. They just flew over from England, and I haven't seen them for 3 months, and I will see them in exactly 2 weeks. So yeah, I can't wait to see them, and I can't wait to get back up to see you and the trade. And I think if I was going to say anything about that return, I think that the doing business together is it will continue now. We will continue to support each other through this, and Qatar Airways has done a lot at the moment to support you, and I know that the Shinji-san and Ryosuke-san and the rest of the sales team are absolutely dedicated to supporting you. While I can't come up and see you, I know that you're in good hands. And I think that if I was to say anything, I think that our relationship with the trade is our number one priority once we can see them again. Mm-hmm. And we will bounce back together. That's my statement, which I 100% believe is going to happen. I know that the markets will return. I know that certain parts of the market may look different. You know, and maybe groups business is not going to be as the same. Maybe groups are still there, but there'll be smaller groups. Maybe Japanese senior citizens won't travel as much to start with until we feel much more safe and secure. But again, sorry, Kobayashi-san, long answer, but I'm very much looking forward to getting back to see you and see all of the market.
Yeah, thank you. So we are waiting for you coming, and then we're gonna have big promotion. Yep, someday.
Exactly.
Yes.
Lots of great opportunities to fill aircraft and to get people to where they need to be. And I think that's one of the other things that I'll be very keen to work with all the trade on is. Qatar Airways has a destination, has Doha as a destination, and we have the 2022 World Cup around the corner, which I'm sure will be going ahead. And as a destination to visit, I visited for the first time earlier this year prior to this, and I was absolutely amazed by what's on offer there from a tourist perspective. And I think that the bounce back will include a lot of opportunities for the trade to visit, to experience Qatar Airways product, and to visit there. We're, watch this space on this one, but I'm working on both packaged products for the trade to enjoy, the actual retail agents to enjoy, product sellers like yourself and others, the product managers who have developed product, who want to offer a stopover proposition. If you're traveling in economy for a very long way, then having a 2-day stopover is probably very good for the Japanese public to rest and to enjoy a different culture. So I really look forward to launching these products to you guys and to the market there. And I think that's going to be a fantastic opportunity to develop a bounce back product and really offer that to the trade as something that they can try. And as soon as the markets open, as soon as the Japanese public is able to travel safely again, and the government gives the green light for the trade to go, I can assure you that the first people that will be going will be the trade who will be building these packages, and will be the VIP trade customer partners, the media, and those types. So as soon as we're able to launch those products, I'll be in touch with all of the key trade partners to offer that as an olive branch and as an opportunity to experience what Qatar has to offer and to develop that product going forward. So I'm super excited about launching that later, hopefully this year, if not next year.
Yeah. Thank you, Tom-san. Thank you very much for your very nice commitment. So we're waiting for you coming back, and then big promotions. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks very much.
Thank
and
you.
Maybe I ask one question to you, Kobayashi-san.
Yep.
What do you see the outlook? Obviously, I'm close to the Japanese market, but I'm not in the market. So maybe you could just tell me what you see as the landscape and how things are going to play out in the future in terms of the market growing back and any green shoots that you're spotting as opportunities right now.
Well, it's kind of difficult right now. Right now, we don't. So, as you know, that in Japanese government very strict for the the coming in, coming out, and the restriction. At least 14 days you have to stay, near the airport or at the hotel. Don't go outside. So I wanted to, Japanese government to, change that kind of restriction as soon as possible. And then just little by little, we are moving to, the promotions. Yes.
Got it. Yeah. And I assume the domestic market is already starting, but will be the first one
but
to flourish.
it's not so much affected.
Not much.
Because
Okay.
everyone is worried about COVID-19.
Yeah.
Still we are increasing the patients. Yes, that's a big problems too.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, look, and it has to be the priority. We all respect that, and I think that's the important thing to remember is that we all, from trade partners and airlines, we take our government's guidance and we respect that, and we will wait until the time is right. And as I said, safety of the Japanese passenger is priority over selling any packages, etc. So yeah, as soon as we get the green light, the floodgates will open again.
So we need a Superman. You come back to here and then talk to the government and then make it.
I'm not sure the government would be listening to me. But.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Tom-san, thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'll just close by saying thank you for everything that for you and all the trade partners are doing to get customers where they need to go right now, even though it's only a very small percentage of the market. We value your partnership, and we will get through this, and we'll get through this together. And as I said, I look forward to seeing you and all of the trade when I can, and enjoying that celebration and bounce back to business when we can.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Cheers. Take care.